This is Andy Paroff, Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by strength and conditioning coach Larry Wade. Larry, out here in sunny Las Vegas. It's a much change of scenery for myself. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
So it's our pleasure, and obviously appreciate you giving up your time. We're out here now with Showtime Sean Porter, I should say. He's on his comeback trail once again. Back in camp so soon after the split decision defeat to Errol Spence Jr. What is your thoughts with regards to his decision to return so early, to begin to get into camp ahead of whenever he's looking to return?
Well, regardless of the decision, our team feels like Sean did a wonderful job. I personally think he won that fight. You know, that's my personal opinion. And so with that mindset, we're not necessarily feeling like we're on the comeback trail. We feel like we're doing what we've always done, and that is preparing him for the next level of fight. And if you go back and look throughout the years, Sean Porter has always given you a wonderful fight. Win, lose, or draw, he's put on an entertaining show. And I don't think he'll be fight of the year again based on his previous fight. So he stays prepared, he stays ready. So when the moment comes, he can give you guys the show you're looking for.
You mentioned to me when I arrived you've been with Sean now for 6 years.
Yes.
What have you seen with regards to progression with his strength and conditioning? Strength and conditioning has become quite a big part of the sport of these recent years. What have you seen with regards to how it's helped Sean?
Well, let's be very clear. Sean was an amazing athlete before I even got to him, so it's an honor for me to be part of the team. But from a strength conditioning standpoint, he's learned to develop more, understands his body a lot more as he gets more mature in the sport. And from a mental standpoint, I think that's what the big change was. He's taken a lot of responsibility, and it's helped him in his development.
Why is it yourself? Why is it yourself that you feel that strength and conditioning has become such a big part of the sport of his recent years, and it wasn't as needed? I don't know if that's the right word or not in past years.
Well, just like every sport, let's be clear. I mean, introduction of strength conditioning really became really relevant in like 50s, 60s, definitely into the 70s. So the sport of boxing, how sports have happened is it's usually the athlete who becomes the trainer, and then that athlete becomes the trainer. So it just took some time, just like every other sport from football to basketball. Now strength conditioning has showed its face in boxing, and I don't think it'll ever be the same again. I think it'll always be better. I think it'll always be stronger, and the fighters will always get smarter along with the coaches.
How have you seen it change with regards to strength and conditioning? How have you seen your role and your job change over the years?
Well, my role is, in my opinion, relatively simple in regards to what's expected of me. When I'm brought into any camp, whether it's Sean Porter, Badu Jack, Caleb Plants, or even Luis Ortiz, or even KSIs for that matter, I want to follow the leadership of the head trainer. The head trainer has something in mind in which he feels like his boxer needs to work on, so I try to give him whatever that is based on his instruction.
Let's just link it back to Sean as well. With regards to his comeback, what do you see in him? Where do you find this desire that he's still showing today to come back literally, a month and a half after the Spence fight? Has it surprised you at all by just how much of a passion and a fire that he's still got in himself to want to go back out there and prove that he is the best?
He hasn't surprised me at all. Sean has been that same boxer from the beginning. He's extremely, extremely competitive. He wants to be the best, and more importantly, he wants to fight the best. He's not dodging anyone. He's always looking for that next opportunity to challenge himself. So I'm not surprised with him wanting to get back in the ring. But I do know from a personal standpoint that he has something in mind. So whoever gets in that ring with him next is going to have a whole lot to deal with.
He obviously, as I mentioned, he wants to get back to the top. He wants another world title, etc. He's in such a stacked division. There's so many fighters in there who you could certainly say, you could probably list 10 fighters now who could fight for a world title, and you wouldn't bemoan them and say they don't deserve it. How difficult a task is it going to be for Sean to engineer himself back into a position to fight for a world title, knowing how packed the division is? Well,
the one thing about Sean Porter, he's not afraid of hard work. I don't feel like in this whole journey of him being a champion multiple times has been an easy journey. He's always taken the hard route back. It wasn't like he took any easy fights and then a title was given to him. He fought all the champions. All the top fighters they put in front of him, he fought those individuals. He didn't walk away from any of them, and he got an opportunity. I don't think this is going to be any different because a lot of guys may not want to put their record or their image or their reputation on the line to one of those guys, when I know Sean Porter will openly and willingly step in that ring and fight anyone. So I don't think the journey is going to be as hard as some may think, because whoever they put in front of him, he's going to fight and he's going to come out victorious.
You've obviously had a the same time as Sean to reflect on that Spence fight. What are your thoughts now time has passed?
That Sean Porter is an amazing athlete. You know, the things he did in that fight were absolutely amazing. Errol was always considered to be the quote-unquote the truth, the boogeyman of the division. No one wanted to fight him. Sean Porter was like, okay, I'll fight him, right? He even said he would fight him before Mikey Garcia said he would fight him. But that's what everybody announced, Mikey Garcia. So with that being said, Sean stepped in that ring and took a punch from the God of gods, of Errol Spence, the truth, who they try to predict him to be. He took a punch, his best punch, and he walked away from it and challenged him immediately, like, come on. So that tells you the type of warrior spirit that that young man has and his true athleticism. He came from almost a zero position, catches his stability to say, okay, now I'm ready to fight again. Let's go. And that tells you a lot about who he is from a personality standpoint and also who he is as an athlete. So what I learned then is what I've always known. He's amazing at what he does.
Since then, Errol Spence was in a car crash very soon after that fight for drink driving. It came out the story. What was your thoughts and your reaction to that? The
same as the team's opinion was, we don't want to see a guy get injured, especially a guy that we don't have a true grievance toward. We don't dislike the man. We don't want to see anyone get hurt. So as soon as that happened, Sean Porter and Kenny Porter, we all spoke that morning, and we wanted to send our blessings to him. As a matter of fact, we attempted to in our friends of connections to try to link up with him and let him know he's in our prayers. And that was the key. And we felt bad for him. We're definitely sad that he had the problem that he had as far as the injuries, or if there are injuries. But we don't want anything bad to happen to him. We just want to be able to fight him again, give him an opportunity to prove to the world that if he is the best to prove that with us and other fighters like us.
Just to move away from Sean as well, because obviously I flew out for Vegas for the Deontay Wilder Luis Ortiz fight on Saturday. You're in Luis Ortiz's camp now. Just talk to me about this link up and what have you seen in Luis?
You know what? I didn't know really what to expect when I started working with him. I knew he was an amazing boxer, you know, but never have worked with him before. I didn't know what to expect, but he has shown me that he is truly a hard worker. His athleticism is amazing. For a guy to be able to do some of the things he can do when we started camp, being 256 pounds and now being about 25 pounds lighter than that, I was truly, truly impressed. Fast feet, fast hands, high IQ. This fight's going to be really good. I'm waiting to see how Wilder deals with some of those things.
Obviously, time's passed as well because they had that first fight. Is maybe Luis, has his age shown at all? Because he's the most active of fighters. Have you seen anything with regards to his age and how much of an impact that could have in the fight?
I haven't seen anything really stop him based on age. I mean, let's just be clear about the heavyweight division. They don't throw as many punches as, say, welterweights or even below that. So that being said, the activity that he's given me is that much more of a heavyweight. So he's throwing punches like he's a light heavy or even a cruiser or something along those lines. So I'm expecting to see a good fight. I can even go as far as saying middleweight. So I'm expecting to see a good fight. I expect to see an active fight. I don't think anybody's going to walk away from this fight and not be excited or happy with the results.
So how do you kind of see the fight playing out in your own mind? How do you see both fighters kind of clashing or gelling in the ring?
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of filling out. I think everybody wants to see Deontay try to do what Deontay has done 95% of the time, and that is the exciting, let me see if I can knock a guy out. But I think he's going to see a different Luis Ortiz this time. And I think that in itself is going to make the fight even more exciting, because when he's unable to do some of those things that he was able to do in the first fight, then people are going to be looking for is, can Ortiz actually pull this off? Is Deontay really prepared for 12 rounds? You know, these are the things that I think are going to make the fight so much more exciting. I'm expecting Deontay to bring his best self. I know Ortiz is bringing his best self, and that's going to create a wonderful clash.
There's been a lot of talk in the background about the potential Wilder Fury rematch in February. Do you think at all Deontay may have overlooked Luis?
I don't think he overlooked him. I think that, you know, business presented itself. This was an opportunity. He wanted to go back and maybe fight a guy who he may not have had the best showing against, probably the hardest fight he had up to this date. And he's trying to get that back. So it's what better fight to take than to take this one? Now, with Wilder's confidence, but of course, Wilder steps in the ring and believes he can win every fight, and that's what he's supposed to do. So I mean, we're going to find that out here shortly.
And moving away from Luis Ortiz onto the KSI Logan Paul fight using KSI's corner. Something that the boxing hardcore wasn't necessarily supportive of seeing this fight. Two YouTubers headlining, especially ahead of two world champions in Billy Joe Saunders and Devin Haney on the undercard. Firstly, what was your reaction to seeing two YouTubers in the position they were headlining at the Staples Center?
Well, first I was surprised and yet honored that they thought enough of me to allow me to be part of that camp. I didn't know the true details. I think the key for me as a professional strength conditioning coach is me understanding from KSI and Vidal that they were serious about this, that we're not here playing this sport because people really do get killed in that ring. So if he's going to come here, he has to be committed 100% to everything that I'm asking. And he did that. He told me firsthand from himself that, hey, coach, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to do the very best. And then you just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I pushed him hard. I pushed him extremely hard as I would push any pro athlete that I would train. And he never buckled down. He never fell short. And he gave me 100%. So that in itself made me have a new respect for him as a person and a new respect for him as a boxer, because I didn't take it light on him. I pressed him hard. And when he went into that ring, he was prepared to go through whatever he was going to go through to get that win, and he got it.
So what was your thoughts with regards to the fight itself? And since then, Logan Paul's come out and said that he's going to appeal the decision. What was your thoughts on the result and the fight?
This is boxing, man. I mean, at the end of the day, if you go back and look at a lot of decisions are questionable. I mean, there's a lot of people who can do that very same thing. I mean, I feel like Sean won his last fight, you know, and other fights before that. So, you know, I don't see that being a real thing or an issue. If anything, maybe presenting itself so maybe he can get a third fight.
I just also want to touch on it as well. Caleb Plant, another man that you are the strength and conditioning coach for. Talking about Caleb, how is he looking?
He's doing great. I mean, he just came off his wedding. He's married to another athlete of mine, Jordan Plant, which was athlete Jordan Hardy before. And so they just finished that, and they're enjoying life. He just came off of his world championship defense against Mike Lee in July. So he's enjoying a little bit of life, but now he's just starting to get back into the train of things and get things together. And so we're back in the weight room doing some of the things we need to do. You'll be seeing him soon. I think he'll be fighting February.
Caleb, obviously, again, at the top of the division is a very competitive one, with Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith and David Benavidez carrying the other world titles. In your opinion, out of those other world champions, who would possess the most problems for Caleb?
They're all great fighters. I'm not taking anything away from any of them. I think Caleb's biggest obstacle, if any, would be his own. I don't think that any of them present anything too extreme that he can't manage. He's coming up. He's already has a world title, but he's coming up in the world of boxing. I think before it's over, Caleb will be pound for pound one of the best in the sport.
And finally on to Badou Jack. Badou, we're obviously waiting for his return on December the 28th, I believe. Yeah, the 28th. How's he been looking in camp as well?
He's doing great. I'm excited for the fight, man. I really am. Badou's one of my, close guys. I've been with him for about 3 years now. And Badou lost his last fight against Brown, and I think a large part of it due because of the cut that went to the actual skull, and him have to get layers and layers of stitches to fix it. And he never stopped. He never stopped coming at him. They never stopped the fight, but he fought through it. And so this is his opportunity to get those same belts back. And so he's excited. I'm excited. I tell him almost on a daily basis, I want my 2 belts. I need them. And so he's working for that. So I'm very excited for this fight. He's looking good. He's looking strong. And he's excited as well. So I'm really looking for a good fight by the 28th.
Well, Larry, I appreciate your time. And before I let you shoot off, final word to yourself, what would you like to say to everybody who will watch this interview?
Hey, listen, the sport of boxing is amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. I'm grateful to be part of it. Look, tune into it, support it, be part of it. Get your favorite boxers. Hopefully it's ones that I'm training, because I'm telling you, it's one of the most exciting sports you can be part of. If you guys continue to support those guys, support Badou Jack, support Caleb Plant, Spence-Porter, Luis Ortiz, Shane Mosley, KSI, Vidal Riley. Support all these guys, man. They're great boxers. Also, if you guys can support me, if you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, that's the same name, Coach Larry Wade. Once again, Coach Larry Wade. If you guys can support us, we greatly appreciate it. These guys are doing a fabulous job, and they put a lot on the line for your entertainment. So please continue to support them.
Larry Wade, thanks for speaking to myself and Boxing Social.
Thank you so much.